where no man has gone before.
Sway in the morning, Shade 4 or 5. That voice you heard right there, Heather B.
Okay.
That voice right there has been the fabric of my life since childhood, being one of the original Trekkies, Heather B.
That's so good.
I grew up looking at this man like he was my uncle.
Uncle?
Like he was an uncle.
Uncle.
Captain, the one and only Kirk is here. Mr. William Shatner has arrived.
Uncle Captain!
Well, but I don't even recognize that voice.
Yes.
That's not my voice.
That's not your voice?
I mean, it is my voice, but it's a 55-year-old younger voice.
Yeah.
And I don't like the way it sounds.
Yeah.
I never liked the way I did that thing. I kept trying to do it better and differently.
Wow.
And I never got it the way I wanted.
How many takes did you do?
Well, who knows, 20, 30. But over the years, I kept trying to change it. And I thought I should have get more. These are the voyages of. I don't know.
You could have did it better.
I could have done it better.
If you done it today, how would them?
I don't even know the words.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
There it is. Hey, I know you.
Shade 46.
Oh, it's 45.
Coming to you from space.
Yes, that's 45. Let's try it again. I'll feed you the lines, okay?
Right.
Okay. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Sway in the morning.
Swayed in the morning.
Sway in the morning.
Sway. Sway.
In the morning.
You sway anytime you want.
Okay. On Shade.
On Shade.
4 or 5.
4 5.
There you go. There you go. All right. Hey, yeah, man. I like
Damn,
that.
Sway.
That's pretty damn good right there, man. It must be fun for you to like. You never watched the Star Trek movies though, right? Is this true? I read that.
Well, do you listen to yourself on old?
No.
Why not?
I will critique myself
There
too
you
much.
go. You see,
Okay.
and I saw you go and you kind of pulled back from the whole thing. It's the same with me. I look at oh my God, do I look like that?
Yeah.
That can't be me. Or the voice, that doesn't sound like me. Or I don't like the way that looks. I can't stand to look at it. So I don't look at it.
You don't look at it. You have this new book, Live Long and What I Learned Along the Way.
See, live long and ... ellipse. That's the balancing point. That's where you can live long, but what are you going to do with it? What are you going to say? How are you going to conduct yourself? What are you going to do with your life? And that's what the book talks about.
And it's interesting because you talk about many things. We'll talk about those things too. But and some of the things you said about Star Trek is, and you talked about some of the props and some of the things that were on the set and them being kind of low budget and. At one point in your career.
I hate to disappoint you.
Yeah, I know. And I was like, you mean that alien head wasn't real?
The buttons kept falling off the chair.
Yeah, and the phaser guns and all of that, I believed in that.
We used to go to the toy stores and buy the toy store guns. They were better made than the props. They cost tens of thousands of dollars.
Really?
Absolutely. When they started making the guns and the communicators, they were far better than what we had. And we would buy them and go to them.
So when you used to flip that little flip phone,
you could have flipped it yourself.
Oh,
movie magic.
And then, because what they did is they start selling Star Trek merchandise.
Yeah.
And then we bought the merchandise. I went to NASA. I went to Cape Kennedy, whatever they're calling it now, and for a before they went to the moon. It was just prior to going to the moon, and they had the LEM, the Lunar Excursion Module, and then they on a screen. Now I'm looking out a lead glass window in the LEM, and they had the star systems that they were going to see on the way to the moon, and across the on the screen that they were projecting the stars, the Starship Enterprise, and everybody laughed. I came out of the LEM, and everybody laughed. And they said they'd gone down to the village and bought a model of the Enterprise, and they had put it together with great difficulty. These rocket scientists.
Wow!
We got a huge laugh, and these guys were fascinated by Star Trek, but who knew why or where?
Wow, that's interesting. William Shatner is here, man. I'm not going to Star Trek you the entire time, but I just find it fascinating, so I'm going to have to get some of this off. And you've done stand-up comedy. What was the worst stand-up experience you had?
You're leading me into a terrible experience. So I love stand-up. I mean, when it's I've done it and I've had material written for me. But the guys who write their own material, who live their own lives and comment politically or emotionally or what they're the real artists. They're going out on a limb trying to be funny. You're going to make you laugh about their lives, and so stand-up comedy is a real pure art, and I admire it. And so I thought, wouldn't it be funny if Captain Kirk, me, went out to do stand-up? So Captain Kirk's going to do stand-up like in front of the crew or something, rather, and he's going to comment. He's going to tell old Henny Youngman jokes. Take my wife, please. You know that, and he thinks this is funny. Of course, it's not funny, but the fact that Captain Kirk thinks it's funny and it's not funny is funny.
Yeah.
A large part of that worked, except it wasn't funny.
It wasn't funny.
The theory backfired.
It should have been funny, but it wasn't funny. It turned out what wasn't funny that should have been funny wasn't really funny, right?
Wow.
So that was very embarrassing. I was in front of an audience, too. A little flop sweat on there.
You've had so much, like you've always worked. You know, it feels like to me, and we've been having this conversation about a young man by the name of Geoffrey
Owens.
Oh, Geoffrey Owens, who played Elvin on the Cosby Show when the Cosby Show was the Cosby Show.
Yeah,
And
I did a segment of the Cosby Show.
Did you? You
Yeah.
were on it?
I was on a half hour. I remember meeting Bill and being in the car. So yeah, I had a neat experience with him.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah.
This guy, young man, hasn't really had a whole lot of work in the 20+ years since he's done the Cosby Show.
Has not had.
Nah.
Oh, he's the gentleman who's working in the store.
Trader Joe's, yeah.
Yeah. Well, why not?
Yeah. Why hasn't he had to work?
Well, no. Well, I don't know why. He hasn't had to work.
But why not work?
Why not work in the store?
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, good Lord, man, the man has to live.
Yeah.
Whether if he's not getting an acting job, every actor but me has worked at something else.
Always good.
I have never put that up there. Put the hat on. I've never collected an unemployment check, and I've been unemployed. I would do something else. I would write something, or I would direct. I was just something else that I was doing in the biz rather than working at a store. But you got to work. You got to pay the rent, man. And it's somewhat important to slip an occasional thing in your mouth and chew it, and give your body some food.
Yeah.
That costs money.
Yeah.
And you have to earn that money. God bless him.
Yeah.
He's not thinking, how will I go out? I was on the Cosby Show and I was a star. Jeez, man, I was broke at the end of Star Trek. Wow. I couldn't cash a $15 check.
Really?
That's the truth. I had an old truck. I put that RV cab on the back of the pickup truck, and I lived in that truck while I was touring on a summer show.
Yeah.
Doing the summer stock.
Yeah.
Show. I lived in the back of a truck. Cooked my meals.
That was after they canceled it the first run of the season, right? The first
when the 3 years that I was on Star Trek, when they canceled it, and because I was getting a divorce and they didn't pay us that much money, and everything just combined, it was a perfect storm of I was broke and I had to go work. But it would have been easier to go to some department store and as I was the lead of Star Trek, but instead of doing that, I was able to put together a show and tour a show and make some money doing that. But I lived in the back of a truck.
Wow. So the other side of that is that Regina King was here as well, and she says she's at the point now where she doesn't have to audition anymore. So at what point did you get to, are you at the point where you just don't have to audition, you just get phone calls and people say, come in, you got the gig?
Yes. That works for me. No, even with the Captain Kirk thing, I had been popular. I had starred in movies and on Broadway and in television, prior to being asked to do Star Trek. So the story is they made a pilot of Star Trek with an actor who was quite popular at the time. His name was Geoffrey Hunter, good-looking, very good actor, and the pilot didn't sell. NBC didn't buy it, but they said this is interesting enough to want to do it again. Put another cast together. They said to Roddenberry. So they retained Leonard Nimoy, who was playing Spock, but they changed
Rest in peace.
the whole other cast. And I was in New York doing something, and they called me and said, would I come and look at the pilot with the idea, would I consent to being playing the captain? So I looked at the pilot. It was really cute and interesting, and I said yes. So rather than me auditioning for them, they auditioned for me.
Yeah. Wow, that's right. William Shatner is here. He has a new book, Live Long and ... What I learned along the way, and I've been reading all through it, and I just love. You make a comment that they say with age comes wisdom. You talk about that in this book, and in some of the things that you look back at. One of the things you said, you look back at all civilizations that tried to conquer the known world and subject the inhabitants to their rule. That has been a dream throughout recorded history, and in every instance, it eventually has faded into nothing, all the vanity, and then it's gone, and then history repeats itself. For a time, it seems so complicated, but in fact, it is so ridiculous. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts. That's like
nothing lasts forever, and that's the truth. So when it's bad, be patient.
Yeah.
The wheel will turn, and when it's good, enjoy it, because it's not going to last.
Whew, damn. Whew. Wonder was like, hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
It doesn't mean necessarily you step out the door and you're hit by a car. It may take decades for it to change, but change is the natural order. Change is going on. The stars are exploding. The sun is going to disappear, but that'll take 4 billion years, and you don't have to worry about it. But change within ourselves as we age and we get older. And no, I don't think we get wiser as we get older. I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea. The book is written like, here's what worked for me. I can't possibly give you any advice, or you. All I can say is this is what worked for me. But in addition to writing the book, I've got some albums out. I got a new album, a country music album.
You got a new one out?
Yeah, Why Not Me it's called, and I've got in October I've got a Christmas album coming out called Shatner Claus.
Shatner Claus. Okay.
Now these albums are not quite spoken word, and it's not quite singing. It's somewhere in between, and it is that fusion of word and music that I'm trying to achieve, that's in the area of rap, but it's not rap.
Wow. So let me ask you something. If I was to throw a hip-hop beat underneath you, could you do something?
I could, but I'm not accustomed to it, so I can't do it right now.
Okay.
I'd have to work with you to rehearse that. The way you talk, you're rapping already.
You can hear it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got bars.
I hear the rhythm of the speech.
Yeah.
Now, I, too, apparently talk in a rhythmic way in which I try to explain something, but it's different. But I could make it work.
You can make it work.
I could make it work.
I think you can make him make it work because you had it work for Larry King.
I did do that for Larry King.
Yeah.
Larry King came out.
I don't want to do anything Larry King.
Okay.
I love him.
He's a buddy.
All right, man. And we got a little bit of it right here. Check this out, man. Check this out. William Shatner.
This is Larry King?
No, this is William Shatner. You.
To drown out the pain.
I want to boldly go where I know I shouldn't go. So pass the cup.
And beam me up.
Beam me up.
So beam me up.
Beam me up.
To the moon and back.
To the moon and back.
Don't stop
Jim
slipping.
Beam till I can't even slur her name.
I want to bold.
Yeah, man. I like that right there.
So you see that I'm not singing, but I'm into it.
You're into it, man.
And in the same way, I guess, can well-known rappers sing?
Yeah.
Can they sustain a note?
Drake could hold a great note. He's one of the biggest rappers out. He could sing. Yeah.
But Why don't they sing?
A lot of them are now, man.
Yeah.
They're starting to sing.
Why? What's the change?
Back in the day, it was a.
And when is the day?
Back, I say in the late 80s,
90s,
in 90s,
yeah.
you know, when
it was
you was
frowned upon.
It was frowned upon
To sing. What was frowned upon?
Singing wasn't rapping. It's two different things.
Say that again. Singing isn't
and
rapping.
Yeah, they're two different things.
Well, yes, but they're close.
They're close, and at that time there was a new relationship with the music business. There was a lot of integrity in the culture, and you know.
No, I don't know what you mean, and I want you to explain what you mean. Do we have time? Are we good there?
See,
Are we
well,
good?
okay.
Heather, you don't.
Buy the book,
So
right?
let me say,
buy the book and buy the album.
Okay.
Let's talk about rap.
Okay, so hip hop was Sway's referring to at that
Wait a minute,
time.
What?
Hip hop,
Yes.
rap,
Yes.
rap, hip hop, to what Sway's referring to at that time when we came up. It was appreciated because it was raw. It was, and singing wasn't considered at that time.
Where did it come from?
The Bronx?
That's the location.
Yeah.
Where did
It came
where
from
did the great black singers who had such melodious voices that they were king. They were the swing thing. And I'm trying to remember some of the names.
Which ones?
Name me
Teddy Pendergrass or something?
Cab Calloway.
Cab Calloway.
Pat Post.
Nina
Muddy
Simone?
Waters.
Marvin Gaye?
Yeah, all those
Okay.
guys sang beautifully, and you listen to great music. Then all of a
Sam
sudden,
Cooke.
one day, it flipped, and suddenly there was this rhythmic talking that sent a message from the streets that this was the life, this was the whole culture that was coming out in the spoken word.
Yes.
When did that happen, and why?
I mean, you got people like
Gil Scott Heron
and the last poets who, back in the civil rights movement in the 60s, and they were making music with social commentary without singing, but actually speaking it through. So,
Why did that occur to them to do that?
Because I think it was more impactful then. You know, you could hear the messaging then. It was a unique way of people were expressing themselves.
But that was like a huge
Yeah.
jump, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was.
And then you have to understand too, Mr. Shatner, we didn't necessarily grow up, not all of us in a home with instruments. So for us, the music was this, just banging beats on the table.
Listen to you. That's great.
You know,
You
so
wanna do-
you made those beats and that music, and you spoke
See,
what was
does
on your.
anybody ever talk about that? That comes as complete knowledge to me. I mean, that's like the first time I've ever heard that.
Really?
Yes.
Well, you gotta
Have
hang
you
out
spoken about that?
every time.
About where the
Every day.
origins of this is coming
Yeah.
from? So now it's into rap that I can't even understand.
And you know,
Okay? I'm hearing words that I want to understand. I can't understand them. That drives me crazy. And my kids,
Yeah.
my grandkids, are rapping along with them. They know the words. How did you learn that?
yeah. And that too. It was a part of it. Its uniqueness. It was
Yeah,
almost speaking
yeah.
in code, and it wasn't necessarily meant for you to, in the beginning, to understand it. It
Understand
was
it.
like
Yeah.
it was meant for us to understand it.
Ah.
And it was kind of was created by folks who had a lack of representation, and their voices weren't being heard.
Right.
So it's kind of
And this story is out there? What
Yeah.
you're telling me is out there?
yeah, man.
Where is it out there?
He is
Or is
Sway
it-
in the morning.
Sway in the
Shade
morning, right
405.
here. You gotta
Over
come here
You
to
gotta
get it.
come
Has it been
here.
written down? Is there a history of this?
Yeah.
Is there the origins of rap and why?
There's
Has it
an
been written
anthology
about?
of rap too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Not all of them gonna give you the straight up the
realness.
realness that we're gonna give you. Though.
Well, no, but the realness is where the heart of the story is.
Absolutely.
Why would you want to disguise this glorious story?
That's the story of our. We fight that all the time. Don't disguise it. Tell our truth. Tell our history. Tell our legacy. You know.
In my book, the people are saying, why am I so genuine? Why am I revealed myself? Because we carry these masks, all of us, some more than others. When you drop the mask and the real you emerges, that's like a butterfly.
The beauty.
That's a beauty. And that's what we're talking about.
That's William Shatner, ladies and gentlemen.
Damn it.
I gotta ask because you brought up masks, and I mentioned the fact this morning because I was so happy that you were coming by the show because I wanted to get verification. They didn't believe me. The mask from Michael Myers in Halloween is based on you.
That's the truth. And somehow they found it and got it and they used it. And then when I would take my grandkids out for trick or treat on Halloween, I'd use the mask. And when they wouldn't give my kids some candy, I'd lift the mask and let them deal with it.
Wow.
He wore his
the
own face.
Halloween mask was molded after William Shatner's face.
That's right.
Wow, man, I got to be an amazing accomplishment. Hey, well, thank you for coming by,
Oh,
man.
man, it's been a
Absolute
pleasure.
treat.
I wish I could spend more time and learn more about it.
You can
Thank
come
you.
back
It
and
was great.
visit us anytime. The book is Live Long and ... what I learned along the way. Look out for the Christmas album. Look out for the country album. All these things are going. William Shatner is still working. You want to reach him on social media? It's at William Shatner. He'll be
WilliamShatner.com. Yeah.
and WilliamShatner.com. Thank you, sir, for coming through.
Pleasure to see you.
All right, Wendy Williams is up next. You want to speak with Wendy? 888-742-3345. Give us a call.
Give her my best.